Hey guys, Josh here, and in this video we're going to look at whether it's worth overclocking your CPU. It takes a long time to do it properly and I wanted to know if it's even worth it. I tested my CPU, an Intel i7-4790K, at both its stock speed of 4GHz and overclocked to 4.7GHz to see how the frame rate changed, if at all. I tested 4 games, GTA 5, Overwatch, City Skylines and Dirt Rally, and ran all of the games with the settings maxed at 1080p to ensure that my Radeon HD7950 graphics card wasn't finding things too easy, and to clearly see the differences in frame rates going from 4GHz to 4.7. The PC I used to conduct these tests had the following parts: an Intel Core i7-4790K at its stock speed of 4GHz or overclocked to 4.7, 16GB of HyperX FURY 1866 MHz RAM, an HIS AMD Radeon HD7950 overclocked to 1050 MHz, an MSI Z97 Gaming 5 motherboard, a Corsair RM750x power supply, 2 SanDisk SSD Plus 240GB SSDs, a 2TB Seagate Barracuda hard drive, a Noctua NH-U12S CPU cooler, all housed in an NZXT S340 case. So first we'll look at GTA 5, a game which stresses both the CPU and the GPU. I put all the settings in the main graphics menu on very high where possible, except MSAA, which I left switched off, but left everything in the advanced graphics menu at their default settings, off in this case. My testing involved driving at high speed round a predetermined course in the city of Los Santos, where the frame rate is typically a little higher than average, and driving through the overgrown swamp area just south of the military base, where the tall, densely packed grass makes the PC struggle to maintain good frame rates. With my CPU at 4GHz, the game ran at an average frame rate of 46 FPS, with a max frame rate of 58 and a minimum of 33. It never dropped below the all-important 30 FPS mark, but it wasn't an ideal frame rate to be running the game at. After overclocking my CPU to 4.7GHz, the average frame rate increased to 59 FPS with a max of 79 and a minimum of 46, giving a much smoother and more playable experience. Next we'll look at Overwatch, a game that isn't really CPU intensive at all. I ran the game on the Epic preset and tested the frame rate while defending the first point on the Hanamura map as Bastion. With my CPU at 4GHz I got an average of 65 FPS with a maximum of 82 and a minimum of 48. Interestingly, when I increased the frequency of my CPU to 4.7GHz, I got reduced performance with the same 82 FPS max but only 60 FPS average and 44 FPS minimum frame rates. This may be a result of differences in the gameplay from one test to the next since there's no built-in benchmark in Overwatch, but I repeated the tests and found that I got similar results. The third game I tested was City Skylines, a game known for being quite CPU intensive. I ran everything at their maximum settings and tested by just flying the camera around my city, occasionally zooming in close or building something. With my CPU at 4GHz, my system managed an average frame rate of 75 FPS with a maximum of 95 and a minimum of 46. Overclocking to 4.7GHz raised the average frame rate to 82 FPS, the maximum to 102 and the minimum to 57. Finally, I tested Dirt Rally, which as a racing game is fairly CPU intensive. I ran the tests on the Ultra preset and used the built-in benchmark to establish my minimum, average and maximum frame rates. At 4GHz my CPU mustered an average of 49 FPS with a max of 72 and a minimum of 37. Pushing my CPU to 4.7GHz increased my average frame rate to 67 FPS, with my maximum increasing to 88 and my minimum increasing to 53, a fairly hefty performance gain. So let's look at the change in average FPS going from 4GHz to 4.7GHz. As you can see, GTA 5 and Dirt Rally gained a significant amount, 28.3% improvement and 36.7% improvement respectively. City Skylines had a more modest improvement of just 9.33%, but the surprise was Overwatch, which showed a 7.7% loss in frame rate. This may just have been differences in gameplay between runs as I said earlier, but it's a definite possibility that overclocking actually hinders performance in Overwatch. Anyway, that's it for this video guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you've noticed a lower frame rate in Overwatch after overclocking your CPU, but in the meantime, I'll catch you in the next video.